This is it, the last few moments before we have our final table. Hi, everyone. Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. The Amazon room still buzzing from Will Kassouf's stunning exit.
Did you see all that? Did you see that entire hand? An incredible moment.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
With Will's exit, Cliff Josephine moves from the other table to rebalance at 8-8. Josephine is in the proverbial driver's seat of the chip lead.
When Cliff was born, he was in the driver's seat. If you told me he drove his mom to the hospital before she gave birth, I'd believe you. He is superhuman on and off the poker table.
27-year-old pro Gordon Vail has made a charge up the leaderboard.
If everyone who didn't graduate high school turned out like Gordon Vail, we'd be in a good place. With all that said, stay in school, folks.
Slayed the dragon pretty early, so.
I'm not sure. Like, it's good television when you have the villain. And then,
right. I mean, no, well, Mike said a good point. He goes, people like karma.
Yeah, I like Griffin, but it's worse for my equity.
It's worse for all of our equity, and yet we were all hoping it would happen.
Yeah,
that shows you how big of a this guy was.
It's because you lost you bluffed up a bunch to Gordon.
Gordon Vail among a big group not sorry to see Will Kassouf go.
I firmly believe the reason he did so well in this tournament was because of his ability to talk to people. However, it got to a point in the tournament where nobody was feeding into it anymore, and it really was having no effect on anything. But he would draw out all these hands, he would just talk to you, he would just talk at you, but nobody was responding over and over again, and he would just be wasting time, and we were seeing like probably 2/3 at the most hands of like everybody else, and it was really getting on the nerves of everybody. He was also just a pretty obnoxious person, and had just a pretty like abrasive personality. So he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and eventually it just kind of reached this boiling point where everybody was just fed up with him, and it finally just exploded in that one hand. That was pretty crazy. So I think that was probably the coolest moment that I've been here for so far.
It felt like the execution of Will
I
Kassouf.
barely know Griffin, but I'm now a huge fan.
Jerry Wong has the action, ace-6 of clubs, and he raises to 900,000. The blind's at 2 and 400,000 with a 50K ante. It's been folded to Gordon Vail and the big blind, 8-6 of spades.
Vail with the suited one gapper. We call that the Michael Strahan.
Vail makes the call.
Vail's going to ride his rush. But you know, Lon, to ride the rush, you have to have a rush. I'm waiting. It's been a while.
There's still time. And what a rush it is. Vail flops the straight. Wong with a straight draw to chop, his only way of getting chips back. Vail checked it.
Vail and Wong are good friends. I hope their friendship can survive this hand.
They both check. King of Hearts on the turn.
Just for kicks, Vail should channel Will Kassouf here. Kind of pay homage to him by chatting up Wong incessantly.
Boy, would he get the bum rush out of here. Vail waiting no longer. $1,000,001.
Wong might figure his ace is good, or if he hits the ace, that would be good. And of course, he has the up and down straight draw.
And that will keep Jerry around. And it's a tray on the river. That is ugly. Wong, it's the bottom end of his straight draw, which is no good.
Yeah, that would be the worst card in the deck for Jerry Wong. Vail has the nuts. His soon-to-be former friend has the second nuts.
He's putting a lot of those mini Frisbees together. The red oversized chip worth $500,000 each. Vail with a pot-sized bet. Wong calls.
I can pop the nuts.
Ronan, okay.
It's not even real right now.
Vail began day 7 well under the average. He's now in second place overall. And Wong drops into 9th.
If they ever eat dinner again, it will be separate checks.
Still 16 players. A very handsome payout right now, but a pay jump of almost 90 grand looming after one more knockout. All right, 2 of the big stacks at this table. Belgian poker tournament director Kenny Hollart, he cashed in last year's main event and in 2012. And New Jersey pro Michael Ruan, whose biggest live cash ever prior to this was just over $17,000.
Hollart is technically an amateur, and Ruan hardly ever plays live tournaments. Boy, they're doing quite well.
Folded to New Yorker Jared Blesnick with king 10 off.
He just can't seem to build a stack here in the late stages. And he's friendly with Phil Hellmuth, and he even sits up right at the table like the brat.
Come on.
And he says all in with king 10, unlike Phil Hellmuth.
Jared pushes with 14 bigs left. This would be for about 1/6 of Kenny Hollart's stack. Definitely not an automatic call. Ace-king, ace-queen, yes. Ace 10 or worse? No. Ace Jack? Who knows? Looks like they're bonding at this tender moment.
Boy, Kassouf leaves, and suddenly it's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Hollart makes the call.
What? I said you don't have to say anything and you're still hilarious.
Some action behind.
Good luck, man.
Big blind, James Obst. He folds, so here we go.
That's like I'm happy you showed me that. I'm a dog, but I'm happy.
Blesnik's happy and at risk.
Blesnik will sweat the dealer. Jared at risk, and he hits top pair.
We gotta fade. We gotta fade 2 cards. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win this hand.
Turn card now. Ah, there's a new top pair in town, and it belongs to Hollart.
Oh, everyone knows touching Wojciech Ruzicka is bad luck. What a bonehead play by Blesnik. Go touch your opponent. That might work.
Blesnik needs the river. The river card, another deuce. Jared Blesnik with a great main event run, but it's over for 2016.
He takes it in stride. Great showing.
16th place and over 338 large for Jared Blesnik. And Kenny now with the second biggest stack in the room.
The poker tournament director knows how to handle chips.
With Jared Blesnik's exit, we are down to just 15 players. The Amazon room is a little more serious and undoubtedly a lot quieter, and not just because Will Kassouf is on a plane going back to England. The stakes are huge. Survive a few more eliminations and get a chance at $8 million. And Norman, I'm sure you've saved a few pearls of wisdom for our final 15.
Remember Thomas Edison, Mr. Lightbulb? What if his invention never did what it was supposed to? What if he built it, tested it, showed it to the world, and then it didn't turn on? That's what 15th place all the way down to 10th feels like here. A burnt-out bulb. Darkness. The light either comes on or it doesn't. You either make the November 9 or you don't. It's the biggest stage in poker. If you want to be a part of history, find a way to make your light bulb work.
On day 7, Gordon Vail has been using a huge Hollywood searchlight. He can do no wrong. And here he's at it again after Spaniard Fernando Pons opened for $900,000 with a King-Jack. Vail with Ace-King.
No matter what hand you have, Vail will have a better hand. And even if you have a better hand, he will suck out. Therefore, you cannot play a hand with Vail from now until he decides he's done winning.
A re-raise from Vail and the button. $2.6 million now the price to play. Nowitzki in the big blind with Ace-Jack of clubs.
I don't like this spot for Mike Nowitzki. 17 big blinds left. It's been raised and 3-bet. Ace-Jack is in trouble against too many hands here.
Uh-oh. They're all moving as one. Nowitzki all in for almost $7 million. Pons gets out of the way.
Call.
And a call from Vail. Mike Nowitzki is going to need some of his well-used magic to stick around.
Nowitzki didn't get the memo on Ace-Jack, and he didn't get the memo on Gordon Vail.
Good game. You've been playing great, dude.
Mike's sister and dad flew in today to support Mike.
I gotta be with my rail. That was close. Huh? Raise 3-bet, cut off button. You got the club blocker. Good. Everyone's away from the table. That's how I like it. We're not here to play poker. We're just here to watch.
Poker's new tradition. Walk away from the table, let the cards fall where they may.
But you know what? I'm going to be the only one at the table. That way I can be the only winner. Let's do this.
We saw Andrew Cristoforo overplay an ace a couple of times. I believe Nowitzki has done the same.
There is the flop. And how do you say bleak in Western Canadian?
Bleak. They speak English in Western Canada.
Oh, that's right. Turn card now 5 of clubs, a flush draw for Nowitzki, and some chop outs.
All the sweats. Okay, now I can't take this.
Well, a great card hits when Mike's at the table, and now he retreats. Must be a first-timer.
One card to come.
Huh? Massage the dealer? I like this guy's idea. Come on. All right, come on. Come on, Jack. You can do it. A club or A Jack.
Check
Let's
with Mike
go.
Carrera. That's got to be a penalty.
I don't think our dealer, Heather Alcorn, minds one bit. Mike with 11 outs. The river card, that's not one of them. Vail wins it with Ace-King and punches Mike Nowitzki's ticket home.
I'll see you again, I'm sure, man.
Yeah,
We'll be back.
absolutely.
Good game. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah. Good game, man. Good game.
Gordon Vail continues his day 7 rush.
The good ones all die young.
good game,
What
man.
a joy he was.
Hey, good
Playing
game.
me yesterday, man.
Thank you. That was a fun ride, guys. Good luck.
Take care. They should all be like that.
Mike Davinsky was everything the main event is supposed to be. The 2016 World Series of Poker is brought to you by WSOP Social, the #1 play for fun poker app for you and your friends. Free download for mobile, tablet, or PC at playwsop.com. He outlasted more than 6,700 players, but first-timer Mike Davinsky's main event run is over, out in 15th.
For the first time that you ever played the main event, what an incredible run. And honestly, it looked like you made a lot of friends out there too. And I know that's not what poker's about, but talk to us about this experience.
Honestly, the experience has been so much fun. And I know that, you know, coming into the main event, going this deep, your #1 priority isn't to make friends, but the fact that, like, everyone was, like, so friendly at the table, and it really felt like a ton of people were on my side, that even after the bust-out hand, like, I didn't have any hard feelings at all. Like, I do not feel down, even though, you know, I'm out in 16th.
And I believe that you have your dad and your sister here as well right now railing you. What has it been like being able to do this in front of them?
Doing in front of them, they're not the type of people to be in Vegas, so the fact that they even showed up is amazing. For them to, like, get a taste of what it's been like to be on this run, like, I can't thank them enough to be here, and it's just awesome that they were able to share this experience with me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive. I was really impressed with him. This is 25, is his first main event, and he was just like conducted himself.
He's a legend, man. I was talking to him a lot. Like, he's so good at poker too.
Yeah, I can tell. I just told him, I'm sure I'll see you again.
Yeah.
High praise for the 25-year-old Mike Davinsky. With his elimination, we are down to 14 players. The live final table starts Sunday, October 30th at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
And the final table will unfold over 3 consecutive nights. We crown a champion on Tuesday, November 1st.
At the other table, the hat. It belongs to Qui Wen, who opened with ace-5 and got 2 callers. Going to see a flop. 10-6 queen, 2 spades. James Opes with a straight flush draw. He checks it.
I would never check a straight flush draw to a man wearing a raccoon hat.
Wen checks as well. Wojciech Ruzicka with ace-jack checks as well. He's got the best hand right now. The 5 hits Wen.
Opes might decide if nobody wants it, I'll take it right here.
Opes with some experience with a straight flush in this main event. Michael Ruan made one against his full house. He bets $1.5 million.
Wynn has put aside his baccarat losing for his biggest poker payday ever.
With bottom pair. And the hat. And a lot of chips. That's a raise to $3.5 million. Ruzicka now with a suited ace-jack and the draw, and he gets out of the way.
This might be the one straight flush draw I might fold. Day 7 main event. Opes down to 16 big blinds. A call here is for nearly 1/3 of his stack.
He puts in $2 million more.
Well, you do have to gamble if you want to win this baby.
The river card. The 5 of spades, and Opes rivers his flush, not a straight flush. Win with trip 5s.
Well, the gamble pays off. Opes should have at least 30 bigs at the end of this action.
Opes checks it over to Win.
And Qui Win definitely will bet here. Trip 5s feels like a monster the way this hand played.
We win with almost enough to put Opes all in, $4 million.
Actually, originally I thought Opes might shove. And then I figured he was looking to check raise all in, but he hasn't insta-called. Does he really think Win rivered a monster? It is effectively for his main event. And we did see him make a huge hero fold with his full house against Mike Ruan straight flush.
Win with trip 5s, Opes with the flush, 9 high flush.
Now the repeat, not a good sign. Opes not oozing confidence here.
A fold means Opes is the short stack with just $4.5 million, and that's what happens. Wow. Qui Win will take that pot. Win moves up a notch on the leaderboard. Opes nursing the short stack right now in the room.
I would have folded the turn and called the river. You hit your draw and then you muck? That's a George Costanza move.
Boy, we're not on a pay bump. I guess he read something in Win's actions. All right, let's get back to the other seven-handed table. Griffin Binger in the small blind with 7-6.
Griffin 4-bets from 2-3. It was like 900, 2-3, or like whatever, 900, 2-3, 8, 5-6. He tanks for like 5 minutes, right? And he's like, what do you got over there? What do you got?
And Griffin didn't tell him he didn't hold his cards up?
Okay, so eventually he starts just like just being typical, like super obnoxious self, right? And Griffin's just like...
Can you give it a second?
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
Sorry, guys.
No.
Binger and Pons see a flop. Flush draw for Pons.
Binger whiffs the flop and asks for no talk so he can bluff in silence.
450,000 is the bluff. Now to Pons, the 37-year-old Spanish amateur who loves to fish the Mediterranean. He says he caught a 44-pound tuna one time.
I once caught a case of bumblebee tuna at Costco.
We're very proud of you, Norman. Pons, with the nut flush draw, makes the call.
I might have raised there with my draw if I were Pons, and Griffin Binger would be on to the next hand.
Tray of hearts gives both a gut shot, but Fernando's is no good.
Sure, you say Griffin has a gut shot. I say he still has 7 high.
Binger reaching for chips again. $1.4 million into the amateur.
This is blind versus blind. Chances are Binger doesn't have a hand. Raise with your draw. You've caught a big tuna, now catch a big bluff.
Pons is still the favorite, though that turn card did not help him. And with 4 diamonds to a flush, he makes that call.
He's a fisherman, not a poker player. What can I tell you? He should have raised.
River card now. 10 of clubs is a blank for both. King high is best for Pons.
Well, I can't blame Griffin Binger if he wants to fire again here. If you put Pons on a draw or a one-pair hand other than aces, this bet might work.
Looks like he's put together a big bet. He's got twice the stack as Pons, 3.2 million. And a fold from Pons, no pair, no call.
Well, okay, Griffin, you stopped that earlier conversation mid-hand. Now give them permission to resume it.
Binger sits in 5th place now. He assessed the situation properly and got some chips from Pons, who's now into 10th place.
Trust me, it's better on TV.
What's that?
It's better on TV. It'll be better on TV than Gordon could possibly describe.
Fair point, Griffin, fair point.
It feels all like a dream because I have dreamt about this. Like, I've dreamt about my friends being on the rail, the ESPN cameras. I know that it is real. I can touch myself and I can touch other people, and I know that like this is real, but it still doesn't really feel like it can possibly be real.
Like me, he's never read a poker book, never watched a training video. Unlike me, he plays great poker.
Here's a look at our top 9 sitting at the virtual final table for the moment. The average size chip stack at the actual final table will be 37.4 million. Fold the 2 San Francisco resident and chip leader, Gordon Vail with ace-deuce. He raises to 900,000. Cliff Joseph in the small blind with ace-5 of clubs, and he makes the call.
Like 8 from here, but I'm sure it's 9.
John Sin now in the big blind with jack-10. With 12 million, he has half the average stack right now, but he does make the call.
So it will be 2 college grads against the involuntary high school dropout.
Here is the flop. 8-7 deuce, 2 clubs, a little something for all. Josephine with a flush draw, Sin with a gut shot, and the deuces for Veo are the best hand.
At this main event, Josephine says he's zigging when he's supposed to zag and zagging when he's supposed to zig. It's worked so far.
Josephine is favored in the hand. He bets $1.5 million now to Sin. With his draw, he calls. Veo with the deuces, the best hand go into the muck.
I don't know if I like Sin hanging around here with his stack size and that board.
So it's flush draw versus straight draw. And an ace on the turn. Veo folded ace-deuce. Josephine does have top pair, and he's best.
Best hand, best draw is a good spot to be in. Best hand, best draw. That's pretty much Prince Charles' entire life.
It is indeed. And Prince Charles of Long Island bets $2.2 million.
Sin still with just the gut shot, and he can't like the ace.
He raises to $5 million.
All in.
All in and snap fold. How to lose 5 million chips in 3 seconds by John Sin.
And we have seen some really good reads from Cliff Josephine at this main event.
And the crowd goes wild.
Turned ace-deuce, too.
So you're raising the ace-3 and the ace-deuce,
I can't believe it, right? I'd raise an ace-deuce on the button.
There you see some prominent names from this year's main event who recently hit the rail. Let's swing back to our other table of 7. It's been folded to Qui Win in the small blind with ace king of clubs. And he's going to raise it to $1.4 million. Tom Marchese in the big blind. Jack 10 of clubs.
Great poker mind. Co-wrote a book with Tree Win called The No Limit Hold'em Workbook, Exploiting Regulars. I guess I don't mind being called a regular instead of a donkey.
But you are a donkey.
You couldn't discuss me more if you tried.
Marchese calls for $1 million more.
Blind versus blind. Let's see if the great Tom Marchese can exploit the raccoon hat gambler.
8-9 tray, 1 club only out there. Ace high still best for Win. Marchese's open-ended. Win checks. 2 Las Vegas residents, which does save on the ridiculous hotel resort fees. Marchese checks back. 5 of clubs, both with club flush draws. Win has the ace of clubs.
And Tom Marchese now 1 club away from disaster. Sometimes missing a flush is luckier than making it. Marchese definitely doesn't want to make this one.
That's $1 million. 2 red chips to Marchese.
Marchese with 19 World Series cashes, but this is the first time he's been in the money at the main event.
That is surprising in itself. Marchese putting some of those oversized red chips in his hand, and there's a raise to $4 million. This is trouble on all fronts for Tom.
But Tom will be happy to know I normally would agree with the line he's taking here. He just committed more than 1/3 of his small stack, indicating to Win that he's willing to put the rest of it in if need be. And raising right here might work if Win didn't happen to turn the nut flush draw.
And there is just a call from Win with a much bigger chip stack. River card is a club, a card Marchese thought he wanted to see.
Ouch.
Win with the ace high flush.
And since this is Marchese's first main event cash, he might not know where the payout desk is.
A check to Marchese from Win. That's crafty.
How does Win check the ace high flush there? What's the chances Marchese would normally bet here?
All in.
All in and out.
See you later, Tom.
And a call.
Marchese gets cooler.
Oh my God.
No way around that.
Wow.
Crushing main event final hand for Tom Marchese.
His first main event cash is a very good one. Qui Win with almost 42 million chips now. Qui Win's crowd loves what they see. Let's go down to Kara now with our 14th place finisher.
Tom, even when we were down to, say, 100 left, a lot of people were saying that you were, tipped to be one of the best players left in the field, coming this deep in the main event. Talk to us from your perspective, what this has been like.
Yeah, I mean, I've never even cashed the main event before, so to go this far, like the first time I cash, and in some ways it's like found money. I'm obviously a little disappointed right now, but it is what it is.
You've played, clearly, a lot of tournaments in your career. Is there anything in this one that surprised you or that kind of stands out to you?
I would say it's really like a question of your stamina. I mean, it's crazy how like day in and day out, you just get a few hours off at the end of the day and then you're just back playing the next day. And it really is important just to always be playing your best and try not to make mistakes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Down the stretch, I would have put money on Marchese winning this thing. It's a good thing I don't have money.
All right, we need to get back to Tom's former table because short-stacked Aussie James Opst is all in with pocket 5s, and Qui Win has 10s on the button.
Opes got unlucky against Michael Ruan straight flush, then made a bad laydown against Win. Now he shoves with 10 big blinds left.
Just 10% of Win's stack, no small blind. That would have been Marchese. Hollard folds a big, and so Qui Win in line for another knockout in back-to-back hands.
Qui Win's become a one-man wrecking crew. First he wrecked Tom Marchese's main event, now he's trying to finish off James Opst.
Opst, a 25-year-old who has overcome so many health issues. He's got a tall order to fill here against Qui Win. And after this rush, Qui is never taking that hat off, Norman.
Well, thank goodness his rail also doesn't have raccoon hats.
Qui Win with the 10s, Opst all in with 5s. Here's the flop. No 5, but Opst likes the small cards and their potential.
Not too much in there for James Opst.
Win still way ahead with the 10s. Turn card now. And Obst is open-ended now.
That's how you quintuple your outs with a single turn of a card. Obst looking for a 5, deuce, or 7 now.
River card, not what Obst wanted. And I see a call to Qantas Airlines in his immediate future. Wynn does it again, and a fine run for James Obst comes to a halt in 13th place.
I had a straight flush that hand, dude. You ran the today, man.
And suddenly, Qui Win, a big factor here.
He is unstoppable with back-to-back knockouts. He'll stack over 46 million chips. From the back of the pack to nearly leading it now, Qui Win sprinting to the final table. In poker, it's a seat unlike any other. Thousands of screaming fans. The biggest stage in poker. The waiting game is over. 9 players with a front row seat on this ride into poker history. Josh Weiss switching locations.
Josh who?
That keeps the 2 tables balanced as evenly as possible. Whichever table he's at, he needs a double up soon with only 18 big blinds in his stack. Nearly $225,000. The difference between 12th and 11th, a big pay jump, Norman.
And 3 first-timers remaining. Vietnamese-born Qui Win, Spanish-born Fernando Pons, and Korean-born, Milwaukee-residing Mike Shin.
Let's go, Mikey. Go, Mike. Wait. Milwaukee's on the map now. Yeah, right.
Milwaukee has a lot of really good players, and you know, a lot of people are not known to public, but I mean, I'm trying to put them on the map, you know. Maybe next time we'll go somewhere and tell them from Milwaukee, maybe they'll recognize us, you know, then not just laughing at us, you know.
He's a really well-rounded player. Discipline is definitely something that is a strong suit.
If you watch him, he hasn't made many mistakes this tournament.
Appreciate all their support, obviously. Hope I make it to November 9th, so we could party and stuff, you know. I'm glad they're here.
Mike Shin with ace-7 in the big blind calls the raise from Czech Republic's Wojciech Ruzicka with king-jack suited. Here's the flop, heads up. And Shin finds an ace. Ruzicka left with just king high.
Flopping an ace is nice, but without a good kicker, you're often in prevent defense, and we know what that prevents, Lon.
It prevents you from winning.
Exactly.
Shin checked it. Ruzicka now. Hoping Shin doesn't have the ace. $1,150,000.
Without a good kicker in football, you also don't win very often.
Nicely done. A call from Shin. Turn card now. 8 of clubs, pair of aces for Shin, still good. Nut flush draw for Ruzicka now.
Shin runs a bunch of cell phone stores in Milwaukee. Sadly, there are no new customers to be had at the poker table, as no one ever looks up from their phone to have a conversation.
Except Mr. Will Kassouf. Remember him?
Yes, I do.
Shin check to Ruzicka. And Wojciech putting a big bet together. That is $3,425,000.
Indeed, Ruzicka can continue to bluff with vim and vigor, picking up the nut flush draw. He also has 2 overs to 3/4 of the board.
Shin trying to win this world championship for Milwaukee. They have the longest drought of any major city now. After Cleveland took down the NBA title last year, Milwaukee, top of the list. And a call from Shin.
If I say something nice about Mike, I wonder if he can get me more data. I'm always running out of data.
Queen of clubs. Ruzicka rivers the nut flush. And another check from Shin.
Ruzicka was having a terrible summer before the main event. Was way in the red. Things have turned around.
Wojciech
I'm all in.
says all in, enough to put Shin all in.
I don't think Mike Shin is calling off the rest of his chips with a weak ace.
Yep, not a difficult fold, but a disappointing one for Shin. Mike and his Brewtown buddies can ill afford to keep leaking chips. Wojciech Ruzicka moves into 7th.
but he lost some value there. A smaller river bet, he might get paid off.
So the chip leader to start day 7 wins a nice pot there on the river. Wojciech enjoying his first main event cash, looking to be the first player ever from the Czech Republic to win the main event.
Ruzicka studied cryptography at Charles University in Prague. Do you know how many good cryptography jobs there are worldwide? He had to play poker.
Come on, with all the NCIS shows on TV, there's got to be a few extra. Okay, Wojciech has the action. He looks down at pocket 8s.
He says playing golf has made him a better poker player. Lon, I think playing poker has made you a better golfer.
Man, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Ruzicka raises to 800,000, around 2 Shin with ace-king.
He just lost with a weak ace to Ruzicka. Very next hand, he picks up a big ace.
Oh, with a lot of people, ace-king is already all in here.
I like guys who don't go crazy with ace-king. Why not see a flop once in a while?
He just calls, and good thing. Look at the big blind. Qui Win with queens.
The raccoon hat sitting in the catbird seat.
I need that hat, Norman. Qui Win with the biggest stack, a 3-bet to 2,700,000.
And from the big blind, a great spot for Win to squeeze here with a raise and call in front of him. Plus, he actually has a huge hand. You know, Ruzicka might even 4-bet here, figuring Win is making a move.
Wojciech makes the call now to Shin. He just wanted to see a flop with ace-king.
Come on in.
Shin now looking for a double up or maybe a triple up.
Well, I was happy Shin wasn't going crazy with ace-king. Now he 4-bet shoves with more than 30 big blinds left.
Qui Win makes the call. Ruzicka with his 8s.
See ya.
Folds, and now it is Qui Win going for his 3rd knockout in short order.
Yeah, he just knocked out Tom Marchese. He just knocked out James Obst. Now Qui Win can knock out Mike Shin.
What a rush for Qui Win. Mike Shin and his buddies from Milltown hoping to extend his party.
In this position for your main event life, ace-king feels like a really weak ace.
Here's the flop. No ace, no king. Win still good with the pocket queens.
Qui Win in great shape to amass a huge chip stack.
Turn card. 8 of diamonds. Ruzicka from the sideline sees he would have turned a set.
Qui Win paces, but it's Mike Shin who needs an ace or a king, or he's gone.
The river card, a queen! Win pours it on, rivering the set to knock out Mike Shin. Good fold, Wojciech. 12th place for Shin, and a monster payday for this talented amateur.
And this guy's the chip leader? I thought he plays Baccarat.
I'm buying a dozen of those hats. We had the Will Kassouf show earlier in the main event. Now this is turning into the Qui Win show. Wow! Over the course of a poker player's life, these few days at the main event are just a tiny fraction of their career, but they are also memories that will last forever. A huge accomplishment, but also that lingering feeling of what could have been.
I mean, if you tell me at the first day that I'm going to get out in, what is it, 11th or 12th? 12th, I'll be happy with it. But obviously I am disappointed because I was so close to it. But hey, we'll take a shot next year.
The blinds are up to 250,000, 500,000, a 75K ante, 11 players left.
I just get to play with Johnny. It's fun.
I'm thinking about it. A little shot right now.
Josephy and Benger to see the flop. Benger with 7-6 again. This time it's suited. 7s for each. Cliff with the better kicker.
Check. We play quick. Yeah, quickly.
Check, check. Josephy still leads. Benger open-ended now. He checks again. A million. Boy, they play quick without Kassouf.
Heads up, 2 online monsters. Benger up and down straight draw with a pair. Looks pretty good.
He makes a call for $1 million. River card. 9 of hearts. Benger rivers a straight as Josephy collects 2 pair.
Sometimes we have action flops. This could be an action river.
Benger checks, hoping Cliff repeats his earlier actions. He does. $3 million this time from Cliff. Benger just calls. 2 pair, no good here.
Nice hand.
Josephy had no doubt his hand was good. It was not.
When Benger looked down at his hand pre-flop, he was thinking about that straight. He stuck around and it paid off. There's a college for sports media, Norman. We could at least be substitute teachers.
Oh, yeah.
We always speculate about value bets. Maybe Phil Locke and Antonio Estandiari can help us with the end of that hand.
This is the end, my beautiful friend. Phil, it's been a pleasure to watch you work, to see how your brain operates, to be here with your amazing clothes. Unfortunately, this is the end for us.
Wow, do you think they'll have me back next year?
Probably not.
Well, if you could just hypnotize them.
I'll see what I can do.
Oh, thanks.
In this hand, I think both players played perfectly fine.
They did. Benger checks a straight. Sounds a little, feels a little weird, but it's not because he's collecting on all the bluffs that Josephy may do. We don't know that he has a 7-9 yet. He could have a misdraw. And it's only the third nuts. Check. I like the check.
Right, and Josephy goes for value with 9-7. A lot of people are thinking, well, there's a straight out there. Why would he bet? It's hard to make a hand and hold them, and just because there's a straight on the board doesn't mean your opponent has it. And so I think you have to go for max value when you have a hand. I think it's a clear bet on Josephy's side.
Yep, and a clear check with the straight.
Griffin gets some congratulations from his girlfriend, and as that's happening, Gordon Vail with ace-king called John Sin's short stack shove with queen 10.
Sin push with 8 big blinds, automatic call from Vail, and everybody retreats from the table. This could catch on at Fortune 500 board meetings.
An anxious crowd with their eyes glued on the overhead screen. Will we soon be 10-handed at a single table? John awaiting his fate. Oh, and in repose on the stage.
Well, he's found his special place to watch his main event fate.
All right, here we go. A queen for Sid, but a king for Vail also.
Jack. Why do they always call for the card that will give them a draw rather than the card that would give them the lead?
Wynn's been on a rush. Vail also has been on a big rush here on day 7. And an ace. Ace is up for Vail, but it gives Sin an extra out with a Broadway draw.
And now John Sin needs a jack or queen to win the hand and stay alive for the November 9.
The river card. A 6, spelling the end of John Sin's night and 2016 main event.
Good hand, man. Good hand.
So the former IT consultant turned poker pro with his finest hour playing the game. $650,000 his reward. Gordon Vail makes room for 47 million chips. The lead is we're down to 10. The subplot, Gordon Vail's meteoric rise into 3rd place. There are many bubbles at the main event, but this is the biggest one, the final table bubble. Footnote or future, that's the difference. Table draw so important, but for short stack Josh Weiss, a double up as soon as humanly possible is critical, and like most bubbles, big stacks love to bully the small stacks. 1 table, 10 players, 9 reservations available for the finale. With Josephy with the 2nd biggest stack, over 60 million. Under the gun, a raise to 1.1 million, setting the tone.
3 of our final 10 players, Gordon Vail, Jerry Wong, and Griffin Benger, have dogs. And I just want to give a shout out to my own 2 Pit Lab mixes, Sapphire and Cole, who I know are watching tonight.
Josephy with a suited Jack 10. It's been folded to Griffin Benger with queens.
You don't want to play against a big stack here unless you have a big hand. And even then, you'd prefer to sit back and wait for that final knockout that puts you into the November 9.
From his over 35 million chip stack, a re-raise from Benger to 3.4 million. Qui Nguyen doesn't have a hand to play. Hey, Josephy now with the action.
Josephy sitting comfortably with the 2nd biggest stack, 60 million. Benger in the middle of the pack with 35 million.
Jack 10 suited holds a lot of possibilities if you're willing to invest, and Josephy does call, so these 2 talented players heads up again. Here's our flop. 5-5-10, Benger now with queens up, Josephy with 10s up, and Cliff checks.
Great flop for Benger's pocket queens. Very little chance Josephy has a 5.
Griffin took control pre-flop. Looks like he wants to continue here with the best hand. He bets 3.3 million.
And if you're Josephy, it's possible Benger 3-bet pre-flop with ace-king or ace-queen suited, and your 2 pair might be ahead here.
Cliff calls.
Well, Josephi's 10s and 5s aren't good. He's got a 9% hand.
Turn card now. Almost 15 million in the middle. Turn is another 10. Josephy rewarded for sticking it out. 10s full of 5s.
Must be clean living.
Wow.
Cliff goes from 9% to 95%.
And Josephy wants to lead out now. That's 5.5 million.
I didn't expect that. Cliff Josephy certainly representing the 10 with that wager, and now it's getting serious for Griffin Benger. It's a mind game. I might figure if he had the 10, he would check here and let me fire again. So if he is betting, maybe he doesn't have it.
5.5.
Benger makes the withdrawal and puts it in play. River card now is a jack. Cliff improves on every street now with a better full house than he had before. He led out on the turn. He's certainly going to put chips into play here. $13 million, half the pot, and a snap fold from Griffin Benger.
Nice hand, Cliff.
Nice hand, Cliff. Nice quick fold from Griffin.
An emotional and profitable day 7 for Benger, but that stung. He loses a third of his chips. Once again, Cliff Josephy is the chip leader.
Cliff, how sick is Cliff if he leads here? When the 10 paired, I was thinking to myself.
Cliff's a great player, but that one was a layup for him. The 10-handed bubble continues at the main event. The 2016 World Series of Poker is brought to you by WSOP Social, the #1 play-for-fun poker app for you and your friends. Free download for mobile, tablet, or PC at playwsop.com. That is one big bracelet with a big pile of money. $8 million to go to our champion. Each member of the November 9 guaranteed $1 million.
And 10th place guaranteed a bittersweet memory. Alex Turiansky bubbled in November 9 last year.
One elimination to go before we shut it down and reconvene with our final table. Wong folds ace-queen. Josh Weiss with just one big blind says all in with ace-8. Any takers now? Who wants to play the hero?
Did Josh Weiss late reg this event? I'd never seen him here before an hour ago.
All right, Josephy on the button. Gives it up.
How much is it?
Ruan with a big stack and Jack 5.
It's next to nothing for him.
He's already got chips invested in the small blind.
He's got a raggedy hand, but he can knock out Weiss cheaply.
Ruan makes the call in the big blind now. Veo, Queen 7 calls.
Good luck. Weiss, 35-year-old San Diego lawyer and poker player with 20 World Series cashes.
I'm the only one at the table rooting for you.
Weiss at risk. Is this our November 9 moment? Here's the flop. Weiss in trouble. Ruan with top pair. Veo with middle pair. 5 on the turn. Ruan with jacks up. Weiss drawing dead. A 4 of clubs on the river.
Nice hand, Josh.
Ruan will take it.
Oh, my God.
Josh Weiss, our 10th place finisher. The rest are November 9ers, class of 2016.
Thank you.
The end of day 7 belonged to 2 men, Cliff Josephy and Qui Nguyen. Combined, they have about 42% of the chips in play. Could make for a very interesting final table.
Cliff Josephy, the oldest player left at age 50, the only bracelet winner left, and our chip leader.
Everything went right today. Everything went right today.
Such a dream. I've been watching ESPN, WSOP coverage for like the last 15 years. It's really amazing to be in this spot.
The dream of all poker dreams comes true for this year's November and October 9.
I have absolutely no perspective.